Hey YouTube friends, Brett here with recordingcrave.com. We're going to do another video on mixing horns. The last one was on the drum portion, the drum and the bass, and this one is going to be on keyboards and guitar, and maybe we're touching on the vocals. I don't know yet. Depends how much time we have. So let's jump into this right now. Okay, so we worked on the drums and the bass and the horns already, and the very first video was the horns. Let's touch on the keyboards, and let's play a little bit of the section that we're gonna mess with here. Okay, one of the biggest challenges that I might have on this is we have competing frequencies. Basically, we have the keyboard, we have the horns, and then we will have the vocals when they come in. They're all going to be in that same range for a while. The horns may kick up above that range, but sometimes they'll be playing within that range with some of the keyboard chords that he's playing. So that is one of the things that we're going to have to focus on, is carving some space for that keyboard to be heard in the mix. So let's run through that again. Okay, so I turned the volume up, but what happens is then it becomes a little bit overpowering. So we have to carve. So the plugin I'm going to use on this is from Plugin Alliance. It's the BX Console SSL 4000E. So let's make sure we're starting with a blank slate here. And let's go ahead and take a listen. And I will turn it on. And first thing I want to do is turn off the gate expander here. So that is off. Okay, I pulled the volume back a little bit, and that helped. Let me try a little bit of panning before we even touch the EQ. Okay, for some reason I tend to like the right side a little better than the left. That's just a preference thing. So let's start there. Let's add some 8K. Let's exaggerate it. Okay, the other thing I want to do is roll off some low end. Let's just solo up his keyboard and see what he's got for low end. So we're going to take off, exaggerate here. Let's put this against the horns now. I'm going to pull the volume back a little because we did boost some frequencies, which technically does boost the volume. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. Now let's add a reverb here, and I already did actually. And I'm using space from Avid, I believe. And let's isolate this here. And I'm gonna turn it on. So what I'm going to do is to make the piano more spacious, rather than throwing the verb on the left and right side, if I left it like this here, what I'm going to do is pan it mostly to the left. So I'm going to take this pan knob here and then turn it, maybe 11 o'clock or so. So you can hear off to the left side over here the verb tail on there. I do this with guitars a lot, where I will do that with reverb and delay. I'll kick it to one side, and especially if there's only one, it will kind of fill it out and give it a more larger sound than it is without sounding too loud. I just exaggerated it there for effect. Now this is one of these plugins where I'm going to put a limiter on the master bus just to see if that verb is going to react a little funny. So what I'm going to do is take and go with the ozone. Let's go isotope here. And let's go to ozone 9. And I'm going to delete the EQ and just put the maximizer on. And this is just testing it. I'm not looking to limit anything. I'm going to go with the best here. Now, let me just put that into bypass. So when I start putting some things on the master bus, like if I put a compressor on, which I will, that may change that a little bit too. It may exaggerate the verb a little bit. So, but right now I'm liking it, so that's going to work. Okay, does it need compression? Maybe not. I always try it, and if it makes it worse, I just take it right off. We don't have to have anything on there if we don't need it.
I was
Okay, here's with all the plugins on. I'm gonna bypass it. Okay, not a lot of processing on there. I put a little bit of that CLA 76 on there just to basically catch some of the little punches that he does, so it's not so uneven in the playing. So it kind of evens that out a little bit. But I think what we're doing is getting maybe 2 to 3 dB of gain reduction, 3 on the really percussive part. parts that he hits. And as far as the EQ goes, we are pulling up some mid-range here on the 1K. And so far that's it. I don't know if we need to do anything else. Let me just bringing in some 3K. Let's hear the mix.
Was walking down the street one day. A man came up to me and asked me what the time was. That was on my watch. Yeah, and I said, does anybody really know what time it is?
I think that works. I think that sounds really good because the piano has its space, the horn has its space, and that's working good. Now the next thing we're going to have is the guitar, and then eventually the vocals here. But so far, even with the vocals with no processing on it, it's not getting in the way of the horns or the keyboard at this point. So let's go over to the guitar. And we didn't do that much to the keyboard. It worked out pretty well. So the guitar, I put a compressor on him, and he may not even need that. So let's just take a listen. Since we have the keyboard panned to the right, I'm going to do the opposite for the guitar. We're going to go to the left, about 10 o'clock. What I noticed right away is the compressor kind of opens up his guitar tone. I do like that as a guitar player to have a little bit more open sound, unless you don't want that open sound, but I think it's working for this. You know, I might bring in a little EQ, but I don't think it needs a lot. So what I'm going to do is let's use my go-to. Let's go to the Sheps 73. Okay, so let's give her a listen. I like it. I think the Shep 73 just brought a little more clarity and distinction to the sound of the guitar. And I do want to mention that what I like about these type of plugins, whether it's a channel strip, like this BX console, this is a channel strip, or an old analog emulation plugin where there's maybe just the EQ. What I like about these type of plugins is two things. One is they limit your options here. So I'll know right away within the first minute if I can get something dialed in really quick and get it working. You know, the thing with having so many, and I do have a lot of plugins, I'm guilty of that for sure. But one of the downsides to that is sometimes you can be paralyzed with so many options that you can choose from that you just kind of look at things when you should be just trying your things that you know generally work. Now, what I do like about having other alternatives is if you're trying to go for a different sound, sometimes it's good to have another option to go to. But when you're doing a mix and you know what a certain plugin gives you, use it because you know how it works and you can get your mix done faster. And you know what won't work on a certain source just by hearing it. Like I use this a lot, and sometimes I know if it's going to work or not just by the sound of the source that I have. So, but I think for this it works pretty well. And let's throw a little verb on there and see what happens. And I'm using this verb here, LX480 complete from Relab. I'm going to try doing the same trick. So you can hear over here the reverb decay over there. Yep. So what that does is it broadens out the sound. And where I learned that trick actually was a Toto album. It was a live album where David Paich was doing his keyboard parts, and they were panned basically to the left. There might have been parts where they had it set in stereo, but for the most part, when Paich was playing a piano, it was off to one side, but they had verb on the opposite side, which made it sound huge. Same with Lukather's guitar. His would be panned to the opposite side of the keyboards with a reverb on the other side. And when you're listening to it just as is, it's like, whoa, it's huge. Now, that didn't take too long between the keyboard and the guitar there and what I did for the verb on both instruments. But I'm going to stop the video here so it doesn't get too long. And in the next video, we will cover the vocals. And right now, we just have a static mix, meaning everything is just kind of set in place. And we will get to automation in a couple more videos. But this is Fergie saying thank you so much for watching. I sure appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you would subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.